So, warm welcome to all of you to tonight's Diwali program. Is there anyone who is new to the Brahma Kumaris, doesn't know anything about us? Hi. I know you don't want to put up your hand. Don't worry, that means you're super special. So, warm welcome. My name's Judy, and tonight's offering is based on the teachings of the Brahma Kumaris, which is Raj Yoga. And I see you came with an accomplished student, so they can fill in the gaps for you. But warm welcome. Hopefully, you'll learn a bit about us in tonight's program. Um, so I think many are actually probably at other Diwali functions because tonight is a night of celebration for many. So congratulations for being here. And for us, it's important to see if we can explore the significance of the festival rather than just have a party. Not that there's anything wrong with having a party, but I was thinking a lot. I apologize. This morning, um, thinking a lot about a scene from my past, and I hope it's not too heavy to share. Is it okay if I share it on this very light and bright event? But it seemed very connected, and some of you have heard me talk about this before, but it was coming into my mind very powerfully. And not to date myself, but it was over 2 decades ago. I was a volunteer at the YMCA in their international department. And I was just doing graphic design support. I have absolutely zero knowledge or training in international education. So, one of their mandates was to go into schools and provide awareness education to school children. So I would go on these outings just to be an extra pair of hands. Again, I have no training as a facilitator. So one particular outing, they were actually short of hands. They were short of people. So they're going to have to throw me into the mix. And they threw me into the mix in quite an intense workshop. So this was for grade 5 and 6 children. So I guess that's about 10, 11 years old. I guess that age. And they said, you won't have to debrief, although I did land up debriefing. They were so short on people. But they said, we're going to find you a role in this workshop that requires the least expertise possible. You can be an idiot and do this role. So it sounds perfect for me. And it landed up being the most central role, but it required the least skill. So the workshop was called Mother Earth. And what it does is it simulates what's going on in the world. It allows children to see what is going on in the world and to really experience it. And as I went through it, I was thinking, I don't know if most adults could do this workshop. It's so intense. So what happens is as they enter the gym where the workshop's set up, and I was going to play the part of Mother Earth, in case you're wondering, all that meant is I put on a toga and read from a script. So you can tell it was really perfect, just idiot proof. So as they come into the gym where it's set up, and the gym was set up with groups of chairs in different sections of the gymnasium, and the chairs represented landmass or space or resources. And then they also had pop and donuts, I think, to represent food and other resources. So as they came in, they were given a passport. And this passport was their identity as they entered into the space. So they were no longer whatever they called themselves outside that door. They assumed a different identity. So they suddenly might be a 49-year-old male who lives in Italy, right? And is fairly upper middle class, whatever the case. So they got this passport from different parts of the world. And the passport had their name, their age, their gender, their location, and then it had a bunch of colored symbols in it that would be significant as the workshop unfolded. I don't know if you can visualize all of this. So then they came in and they were directed to what part of the world or gymnasium they needed to go. So, for example, in the USA, there was probably about 50 chairs. There was probably about 10 students sitting on those chairs. So there were a lot of empty space, pretty much represents the situation. If they were male, they got to sit on a chair. And if they were female, they had to sit on the floor. So that's how it was set up. So it was very much trying to create an experience of what's going on in the world. And of course, if they were somewhere like Africa, there might be, say, 5 chairs and 50 of them. So you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. And then if they went to get pop and donuts, if they're America, there's more than enough for everyone. But if they're, say, India, there might be enough for two, but there's like 50 of them lining up. So that's kind of what they went through. So I would be sitting up there reading the script, and it started very nicely. You know, it was things like if you're in this part of the world and you have a yellow dot in your passport, congratulations, you just graduated from university. Something like that, right? But it got weirder and weirder as it went along. And I'll never forget looking at the script and pausing because I did not want to read what it said. Because what it said, and I remember because you're up on this platform looking down on all these children who are looking at you like you're really God or something, right? You're reading this script that really is their life. I looked over at, I think it was Africa or India. I looked over at them, they're looking at me, and I said, if you have a red dot in your passport and you're 10 years old or younger, you lie down because you just died. Can you imagine? Right? And they're looking at me like, what? And I had to keep going. And I remember feeling very detached because I knew it was just a play. And it's okay. It's just a game. But I also knew from the looks on their faces that this was very disturbing. And everyone in the gym was able to see what was going on everywhere else. Everyone was very aware. If they're in the USA, they know what's going on over here in India or Africa. They're very aware. So, would it not have been strange for them to suddenly hold a party in the USA while this is going on in India or Africa? Would that have not been strange? So, I was thinking a lot about this when you have that kind of awareness. And I remember in the debrief afterwards, I'm thinking, please don't make me facilitate a debrief. I don't know what to do. But they were short on people. So I landed with a group of kids. And you can tell they were just all so concerned, so affected by this exercise. And they all asked the same thing. What can we do? What can we do? They're only 10 or 11 years old. And they're already asking, what can we do? And we're explaining this is what's happening. And they're like, but what can I do? It's not right. They kept saying that. It's not right. It doesn't have to be that way. What can we do? So that was staying with me a lot. And it's not to be heavy, and there's nothing wrong with being festive. But if everything we do, including our festivities, can be supporting a solution, I think we will feel more comfortable in our own lives. So even when we're holding an event like this, a very festive event, if it can in some way be allowing us to be part of the solution, then I think that feels a little bit more comfortable than just holding a party while this is going on in other parts of the world. And I think we're all very aware of what's going on in the world. And we are very, very lucky. We can afford to do something like this, to safely gather and hold an event like this. And we don't know if the electricity will go out or if there'll be supplies. We have so much. Trust me, you're going to get a lot of gifts at the end of this. So there's so much. We have so much prosperity. We're very fortunate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, am I still aware? Am I still aware? Or am I completely distracted and might even be possibly part of the problem, contributing to the issues in the world? Is that possible? So, leading up to our theme, igniting the beauty within, what exactly is the problem in the world? And some people think it's a political crisis or a leadership crisis or an environmental crisis. I think one of the COPs is going on right now. I lose track of the numbers, COP 25 or 26 going on in Colombia. So is it an environmental crisis? Is it a technological problem? What is the crisis in the world? And yes, there's many issues going on. Um, the suggestion from a spiritual perspective is that none of those are actually the problem. They might be the result of the actual crisis, but they are not the source themselves. What spirituality suggests is it's a crisis of character. It's a crisis within the human spirit. That until each and every one of us looks within ourselves and sees, am I at least contributing to a beautiful world? I really will only be part of the problem. And we tend to think globally, but it's actually quite individual. You know, if I think about during the day, did I go through the day being benevolent, being supportive, having good wishes, good feelings for every single soul? Or if someone cut me off in traffic, what happened in my mind? So it really does come down to the individual level in terms of being part of the part of the solution. And within that, if I am open to this idea that it's actually a crisis of character, I don't know if you believe that or not, that actually it's something within our own selves that has happened. It's good because there's a very simple solution, right? When I look at these other ideas of where the problem is, it seems really complicated and actually quite hopeless. When I was in the spiritual headquarters in Madhuban, um, they do this now every year when they have it's a special retreat for those who are maybe not students. They're able to come to the headquarters to have this retreat. It's called Peace of Mind. And every year they have the souls who are involved in the green team, the environmental wing, do a presentation. His name is Brother Golo. He is brilliant. He's actually down in Colombia right now with the COP 25 or 26 or whichever number it is. He does a brilliant presentation. And it's always the same. He was in Calgary at one point. Do anyone remember when he came to Calgary? His presentations are always the same formula. He talks about what the issue is, what the problem is. He talks about scientifically what would be needed to fix it, and it's possible, but it's not going to happen. And then he talks about the only thing that will make it work, which is a spiritual transformation, right? Something needs to happen inside each of us. Even if government was to policy environmental changes, as individuals, unless something happens inside of us, we won't be compliant. We'll think someone else will be compliant, but we ourselves will continue to consume. So something needs to happen inside each of us. But he was first talking about the issues in the world, and it just looks so bad. It just looks, it's environmentally, it's so bad. You're just like, we're hooped. This stage is a complete disaster, environmentally speaking. You know, and again, we're in a part of the world where it maybe isn't that noticeable. Although he did mention Canada. He did mention the hundreds of forest fires burning in Canada. That's not normal. We now have become acclimatized to it and think, oh, okay, every year there's just forest fire season. That's not normal. And yet we just continue to go about our lives. There's a little bit of annoying smoke going on, but we continue to go on. Some people are leaving the body, trying to fight the fires or whatever the case, all completely normal to us, but it's not normal. So if I look at it through that lens, it's an environmental crisis or political, I find it actually overwhelming to try to overcome. And so most people ignore it. It's just too big. It's too big to try and fix it at that level. It's too overwhelming, especially the more you know. But if I look at it at a spiritual level, as a spiritual crisis, it's not overwhelming. It seems entirely possible and actually quite exciting because all it asks is that each and every one of us ignite the beauty within. become a more beautiful being. And when we say beautiful, we're obviously not talking about physical beauty. You know, physical beauty is a very interesting topic. It seems to change over time and through different cultures. I was laughing because recently these freckles came up, and in some places, people look at the freckles and think they're completely unsightly. They actually think I'm diseased. And I might be, I don't know. And then others look at them and say, oh, they're so cute. so, so it's really all over the map, right? In terms of physical beauty, it's just who knows what's going on. So obviously, that's not going to save the world, right? We're obviously talking about the beauty of the spirit, the beauty of the self, what we sometimes call inner beauty. And what is inner beauty? When we say, oh, you're so beautiful inside and out. Have you ever gotten that or heard that? You're so beautiful inside and out. We know what the out is, but what's the inside piece? What does it mean to say you're so beautiful inside? So I'm going to stop talking for a moment so I can blow my nose. And I'm going to invite you to turn to someone close to you, and maybe they speak the same language you do, I don't know, and chat for just a moment about what is that beauty within? What is inner beauty? Is that okay? All right, maybe a few more seconds to finish your conversations. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. I'm going to pull you out of your conversations. I hope you were staying on topic because they tend to migrate towards food. Did we were able to stay on topic? Um, Wonderful. Thank you. So, does anyone want to share? What is that inner beauty? What does it mean to say you're beautiful inside? You, okay. You'll have to come and stand here because the camera's here. And if you just, yeah, just so this is what inner beauty looks like. You can look at the camera right there. Oh, no, you have to come. You have to come. No, come right here, honey. Come here and then turn around. Turn around. This is what inner beauty looks like. Yay. Thank you. All right. Awesome. So I don't know if you can top that. I don't, no, you can't. Oh, I don't know. That's a showstopper. Um, does anyone else want to share what beauty inside means? What does it mean? The letter J. Good energy. Thank you. Because I was going to go with the letter J, which is Judy. So good energy. That's fantastic. Yeah, good energy. I love it. That's a wonderful definition. Good energy. So nice. Anything else you want to add? They always say out of the mouth of babes. So much wisdom. Sorry, we can give you a mic actually. I don't know if it's needed for those on the camera to hear you. It might be for Valerie.
I was thinking that it would be appreciation of the inner qualities of myself and of others, and looking for that in others that I meet, and not looking for what's wrong, but what's right with them and myself.
So that's a beautiful vision that I see that inner qualities in myself. I see it in others, and I'm not just focusing on very, very temporary things that are different, but just to see that beauty inside. Nice. Anyone else want to share? Yes.
It would be universal. I'll keep it short, but I was on a call with relatives in Hong Kong I haven't seen in 20 years. And so they haven't seen this change in my life that they were sharing just even on the call that they can feel that purity. So it touched me only because of just how universal purity is, what inner beauty is.
Right. So external beauty is very specific to culture and time, etc. But inner beauty is timeless, cross-cultural, cross-temporal. Anyone else want to share? What is that inner beauty? Yes, go again. Mm,
It's kindness, inner beauty.
right.
No matter what, I have a student with me, Miko from Japan.
Welcome.
She says in Japan, people are not kind.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Here in Calgary, they're very kind people. So I was so impressed because Calgarians have beauty.
Is it Miko?
Yeah, Miko.
I think I had a friend named Miko when I was young. But thank you for the blessing. I hope that that continues as you stay here and doesn't change. But there, I think we'll come back to that point. It's very
She
interesting.
doesn't want to drive. I said, why? She said, because I'm scared. I will never learn driving. I said, you are a powerful soul. You can do anything you want.
Mm.
So now she will learn driving.
Fantastic. You have all of our support. Someone else? Parvati.
I'll say something about my mom,
Okay.
the experience of inner beauty.
Mm.
At one point, we were in the mall and she was just sitting on the chair. And so one very young kid, he was just coming with her parents, and then he just come to my mom's lap and sit over there, and unknown, different color. Like sometimes,
Mhm.
we feel like, okay, some kids, they feel like, oh, maybe my grandma, or, like that. It's not. It's the kid was of different color, came and sat on my mom's lap and started touching, and whatever he likes, start doing that. And mom was running behind, "Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry," you know. And my mom said, "No, that's fine. I love it.
Mm.
So then the kid said, "Oh, I buy some toys." Even mom couldn't understand. Mom was just saying, nodding her head, right? So I bring some toys, and I ask her mom, show the toys. She said, "No." My mom said, "That's okay. That's okay." No, he said, "I want to show the toys to."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens many times with my mom.
Mm.
So it feels like, something, her aura or
It's the good
something.
energy, right?
Yeah,
It's the
good
good energy
energy is
again.
attracting
Yeah.
the kids. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. So we have these definitions: appreciative, good energy, cross temporal, cross cultural, and just basic kindness. So I think we all know what inner beauty is. And we even say, wow, I got really ugly in that situation. When I get ugly in a situation, that I react in a way that isn't very kind, if you will. We're aware of that. So we really kind of know what this all means. So there must be some kind of memory or something inside that is aware of all this. The question is, even though we're aware of it, am I living every moment in alignment with that beauty? We say life is sacred. Do you believe that? That life is sacred? Do you really believe that? Yes or no? Yes, okay, that's good. But am I living a sacred life? Like right at this moment, how would I make this moment sacred? And I definitely appreciate, these decorations I don't know if we're worthy of these decorations. They're beautiful. And they certainly change the atmosphere. But the actual thing that makes things sacred is invisible, that inner beauty again. And so with spirituality, we actually learn how to make our lives sacred, how to become the solution to the world problems, that crisis of character, how to ignite that light within. It's all the same thing. This festival is so, so critical in my mind in terms of what it symbolizes. And it's not just once a day. It even marks the new year, that this would be turning over a completely different way of living a new life if I could honor the symbolism of this festival, which is again to ignite that light. And so spiritually, we understand this is an inner thing, an inner effort. And that inner light is actually just awareness of the self as a beautiful being, a spiritual being. It has nothing to do with the body, nothing whatsoever to do with the body. It is a qualitative experience of the self as a soul. I'm going to put Nora on the spot because there's been huge debates about this. We all actually are identical in this way. We all have the same qualities. She knows what I'm going to ask. And those eternal qualities of the soul are?
It is love, truth, purity, power, harmony, bliss, and peace.
Yeah, there's lots of debate on what they are, but I think that's a nice list, whatever they are. Yeah, that's very good. This is our true nature, what we truly look like, if you will. It's not a physical thing, is it? It's just a very qualitative, it's qualities. And that is beauty. can you imagine living every day in that kind of stage? Loveful, peaceful, truthful, blissful, harmonious, powerful. Powerful simply means benevolent. It doesn't mean controlling. Can you imagine being in that stage as you drive, as you shop, as you work, as you interact, as you iron clothes? Even the most ordinary activities are elevated to the sacred if I am awake inside. So it's a very simple thing that we celebrate on this day, is to really become present, very aware of that sense of self. That I am this beautiful being, nothing to do with the body. This body is actually temporary. And quite frankly, it's not that pretty. Has anyone ever had to do an ultrasound? Yeah, I remember towards the end of her life, I was accompanying my physical mother to all sorts of tests, and one of them was an ultrasound. And so I'm sitting there and they're doing this ultrasound on her internal organs of the body. And I'm watching, I'm like, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I can't even tell what's going on. It looks like another planet. I thought, do we really think these things are beautiful? I mean, we put makeup on and everything, but really? I mean, we need to have a good look. Um, they're really not that pretty, right? Yeah, inside that inner beauty is not there. There is no inner beauty to the body. Not pretty. But even the bodies can become beautiful, if you will, if I am awake. I, the beautiful being, am present. In my first or second year visiting the spiritual headquarters, Madhuban, one of the daddies, the very, very senior sisters, they're called daddy, elder, respected sister, was presenting on the stage. Her name was Daddy Gulzar. Her name means rose, very beautiful. She was on the stage, and I was 1 or 2 years in this study. And I'm looking up at this soul, and physically, I don't know if one would consider. I had her picture sometimes at my desk, and some said, "Oh, is that your grandfather?" So that should give you a sense. um, but I remember looking. I say looking, but I don't think it was my eyes looking. I think it was my heart that was looking and saying, "What a beautiful person." And I really wanted to rub my eyes because it was like almost a physical. I thought, what a beautiful person, and I knew it wasn't a physical thing, and yet it felt physical as well. That if the being is that illuminated, it changes everything. It can even make the atmosphere beautiful. If Daddy Gulzar walked into a room, the entire gathering became beautiful. So this is why we say this is the solution. One beautiful light can completely transform the darkness. If we turned off everything in this room, made it completely dark, and there was one light, it would change everything. So igniting the beauty within, you can be the change maker in any gathering just by being aware, I am a beautiful soul. Don't even need to have skills, right? And I don't have many, so I really lean on this one thing. I want to be good at this one thing, which is spiritual awareness. Do you believe that is the solution to the world crisis? That it's a spiritual issue, a spiritual crisis? That it's really our nature. How could we do something cruel to another being? And don't think it's just political leaders that are doing this. Each of us individually will have critical thoughts towards someone, reactive thoughts. At that moment, it is a moment of violence. We rationalize it, but we're actually dishonoring our own beauty at that moment. That beauty is unconditional, loving unconditionally. Does anyone here consider themselves to be shy? Does anyone think they're shy? No? So if I ask you to come up here and sing a song, you'll be okay? Okay, I will admit then, I was ridiculously shy as a child. I was very, very shy. Um, I remember once giving a book report. I would just want the earth to swallow me up. I had to give a book report, and I just was so nervous speaking in front of people. And when I got nervous, I would start to talk quicker, more and more quickly, just to get it over with. And I was talking at some crazy speed, so that the classmates listening, they actually started to giggle, which of course is your worst fear, right? Like, is people laughing at you. And so they're starting to giggle. They weren't giggling at me per se, but at the speed I was talking. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm starting to look at myself. Is there something wrong with the way I'm dressed? Or which made them laugh even more. And even the teacher who realized what was going through my head started to laugh, and she felt horrible and she tried to intercede. But it really wasn't laughing at me, but just at this nervousness that I had. When someone is shy, it's not like they have to try to be shy. Right? I'm going to now work myself into a shy state. It just happens, right? It's unconditional. It's very natural, we say. So to be naturally beautiful, when we say someone has natural beauty, we tend to think in a physical way, right? They don't need makeup, or whatever they wear, they look wonderful. If we're talking about inner beauty, natural beauty means it's unconditional. It's constant, right? In every situation, no matter what is happening, I'm able to respond from this stage of beauty. I'm constantly in. I'm constantly aware. I'm not this body. I'm this beautiful being inside. And we usually add on to that a child of the ever beautiful one. It's actually in my spiritual genes. It's my spiritual DNA as a child of God. My parent is ever beautiful. I have genetically adopted those same genes. I am beautiful as a child of God. So even just to remember that relationship awakens my beauty. So that's what we're going to celebrate tonight. Is I look out and I see a completely beautiful gathering. It's very obvious to me, but we would love for you to experience your own beauty. So we're going to have a bit of a reflection to take us into that experience of our own beauty. And then we're going to have you, it's going to seem like a car wash. We're going to have you go through a process. It always feels like a car wash. I think you're going to come up on this side this time, yeah? So we'll set the room, and then we'll have a bit of a spoken reflection to take us each into that awareness of your own unique beauty. And then when you're ready, we'll ask you to come up on this side, and you'll be given a tilak just to reinforce that awareness. It's symbolic. So I, the soul, am located here behind the forehead, seated on the driver's seat of the body. So just to reinforce that awareness of the self, a tilak. And then we're going to invite you to light a candle, and that's all going to be set up on this table. There will be the mother of all candles, or the father of all candles, the supreme candle, and you'll be using that to light your candle and then place it in the gathering on a tray. Be very careful when you do that. These are live flames. Pauline Ben was great at that. But you'll all be wonderful. We've never had a problem. You'll all be great. And then you will become like Lakshmi. You will become ever prosperous. We have many, many gifts for you. You're going to need all your 8 arms to carry these gifts. So you'll receive a bunch of gifts over here. And then you're welcome to stay until the end. If you do, we ask you to just hold the space with your awareness. But we understand if you have to fly, but we'd love for you to stay till the end. Is that okay? All right. So we're going to set the room. if we can have some light music, and if you can just hold tight, support them with your beautiful vision while they're setting the space, and then we'll begin with a meditation.